video, I'm gonna talk about iBGP peering rules. So, as you may know, iBGP prevents loops by prevents loops using AS, so or autonomous system. So iBGP looks at its own local autonomous system if it receives a route, and if it sees its own autonomous system, it drops the route. But when we are trying to advertise a route inside an iBGP network, that concept is not applicable. So as you can see here, we have this problem. ES path has no relevance internally. This actually what I learned today from the course, Border Gateway Protocol lessons with Jeff Doyle. So I just want to talk about this because I think that this is very important. So the solution here is forced loop free route advertisements. So we got these 3 rules that we need to remember. So forward routes learn from external neighbors to internal neighbors. So an example of that is this. Of course, you know, the peering here is iBGP. So for example, R1 is trying to advertise this network here. R2 can receive that route and can forward it to R3. That's what this rule here says. Routes learned from external neighbors can be forwarded to internal neighbors. And number 2, forward routes learned from internal neighbors to external neighbors. So an example of that is actually this, but I'm going to talk about this in more detail a little later. So in this example, R2 receive routes from R1, and R2 can, R4 receives routes from R2, and R4 can forward that route to external neighbors. So in this case, R5. But here is I think this is the rule that you need to not forget. Do not forward routes learned from an internal neighbor to other internal neighbors. So for example, R2 receives routes from R1, and R2 can forward that route to that external routes to R3, and R3, the problem actually lies, or the problem actually occurs here if when R3 tries to forward that route to R4, because R4 it's gonna be like in this rule here, routes learned from internal neighbor cannot be forwarded to another internal neighbors. So things break here in this peering. So what actually we need to do is, instead of having two BGP peers between R2 and R3 and R3 and R4, we can actually create a peering between R2 and R4, so we can forward the route all the way to R5. So R2 forwards that route to R4, and R4 receives that internal route and can forward the routes to external to an external neighbor. So this rule here applies. Let's talk about problem number 2. Potential lack of information on forwarding path to next hop address. The solution here is use iBGP. Create a full iBGP mesh. I'm gonna talk more about full iBGP mesh maybe in the next video, and I will talk about how we can scale a full iBGP mesh, because we're gonna have problems if we implement this kind of topology or design. So we can actually use route reflectors and configurations, but I'm gonna talk about that maybe in the next video. But for now, this is, like I said, what I've learned today. iBGP peering rules, and this is very important. So thanks for watching. Bye.